Hey cats, it's Ed, Puma Grip Bud here. Today I've got a long run shoe test for you in the Puma FAST-R Nitro Elite. Slowly getting back to some longer range training. How did this one hold up on my regular route? Welcome back to the channel, people. It's always appreciated that you tune in. If you've yet to do so, hit that subscribe button, but also click the bell below for notifications when I roll out the new videos for you. Give this video a thumbs up like and also share it with your running buddies. If you've got a particular question about the Puma FAST-R Nitro Elite, please hit me up with a super thanks down below. You can get straight to the mind of the EDDBUD, and it helps the channel on an ad hoc basis. 10 miles today in these bad boys, slowly getting back to some more regular training. I say that, I hit about 39 miles for the week, which is quite a considerable increase on the week before, so need to be careful, need to keep it regulated. Kind of hitting a marathon-like pace today. I wasn't going out to break any records, just get some longer miles in. Certainly whatever illness it was that I had has really hit my heart rate and fitness levels. So perceived effort's just that a little bit higher than needed for certain paces. But I think it's slowly returning to normal. I certainly feel a lot better, like 99% better than I did. I did throw in some reps of 200 meters at around 5k pace later in the run. Very much with sustainability in mind, this one. 7 minutes 54 seconds per mile average pace on this one, around about 1 hour and 19 minutes total. Average heart rate there of 140 beats per minute, with the majority of today's effort in the moderate heart rate zone. I did switch up a little bit from my standard route today just to take in some places I hadn't seen for a few weeks. Some moist terrain along some of the urban streets, avoiding some of the higher traffic areas. There did seem to be loads and loads of traffic out there today, and I was listening to music without the ability to be able to hear what's going on around me, so that's why. We'll kick it off with the upper first. Certainly really enjoying the flexibility of the upper material here in the FAST-R Nitro Elite. Doesn't seem to take on any moisture whatsoever, and in some ways it reminds me a little bit of the original vapor weave material that we saw on the Next Percent original. Just really breathable, very conforming to the foot. I'll move the focus of my review now to the lacing. The laces here are quite coarse and firm actually. Not the thickest ones that I've ever used, that's for sure. But I found that they stayed nice and consistent and stayed put with a runner's knot. Lace tension seemed to stay really on point across the run, and despite that narrower toe box, certainly in the lateral side of the shoe, I didn't have any rubbing issues today. I did get a little bit of a rubbing type sensation on previous runs, but nothing today, so I think it may be sock dependent. You know, every shoe kind of has a sock that fits well with it like a partner, but no pressure on those pinky toes today, so all good. I think I was using some Roque socks today. They seem to work very well, and they wash well too. Certain socks seem to disintegrate after only a few goes in the washing machine. It's quite a different approach to the upper here in the Puma shoe. Certainly when we compare it up against something like the Saucony Endorphin Pro 3. As I say, this is more like the Vaporfly Next Percent original, kind of grips up and around the foot, but then of course you do have that Flyknit-like material across the top of the foot there as the tongue. I think that makes this shoe a tad more comfortable actually than the Vaporfly, and you don't have that funny offset lacing either. Isn't it strange that no other companies have bothered to go along with that offset lacing and try it out on their shoes? Can't remember a single other company that have bothered trying it. Everybody else just seems to go for a top of the foot approach, and that seems to work for them. So no real issues to report on the upper whatsoever. No heel slippage. Pretty on point. Midsole wise, once you forget that your arch is cradled only by an insole and some of the upper material, actually the shoe feels very conventional. A really nice smooth operation from the combination of foams that we've got here in the FAST-R Nitro Elite. I'm really enjoying this shoe in terms of high aerobic or faster pace training and running. I think the weight's pretty manageable, and I really like the fruity mid to forefoot squash and return that you get from that Elite foam, whilst always being stable and assured as well. I'd suggest this is one of the more stable super shoes out there that I've tried. It does appear that the majority of the super shoes from this year are moving in that same direction with that wider midfoot surface area. I can remember a few shoes in the past, something like the Fuel Cell TC for example, that was probably going to start to cause a problem. It was just too soft. There were just no real stabilizing elements there apart from the carbon plate. but that shoe is very soft. The firmer EVA in the heel here really does work a treat, and you've got a lighter tempo next percent. So if that shoe was really top notch for you, this one will do the same thing, only lighter. In fact, this one is very similar to the Puma Ultra Ride, a shoe that I tested out a couple of years back. It featured that same kind of design idea here, with the upper and the insole kind of cradling the foot, and then two distinct pieces of midsole material in the forefoot and in the heel. I find this one really good at moderate pace as well. Certainly it makes you concentrate a little bit on hitting the floor with the midfoot. Perhaps some people may find this shoe a little bit more jarring if they're quite deliberate heel striker. I think most people actually meet the floor with their heel, though as long as your foot is firmly underneath your hips as you hit the floor, you haven't got a problem. I am seeing some midfoot and heel creasing here in the foam already. Now, that's nothing new if you've owned another super shoe from a different manufacturer. That happens. In fact, some shoes, when you get them out of the box, are already creased. I don't think it's a big problem here. This foam is exceptionally compressive. It's just what it's going to do. I think the elaborate paint and designs here that we've got on the FAST-R Elite are sort of amplifying that a little bit. Looks a little bit worse than it is, just making those creases look a little bit more prevalent perhaps. A really good balance here between cushion and comfort, and many viewers and some of my Strava followers have echoed my thoughts. Big shout out to David Pedal. He did comment the same things, pretty much my exact feelings on this shoe. It really is a lovely balance between cushion and comfort. Hope you're enjoying your pair, David. Outsole wise, with further runs in the shoe, I can confirm that Puma Grip really is the top cat. That's just been further demonstrated here in today's run. The pattern here in the mid to forefoot section of the shoe does look a little bit like a load of raindrops stuck together. Perhaps there's a bee-like quality about it as well. Gotta say, it does facilitate some really great cornering and traction. Grip on the shoe is probably some of the best I've felt recently in any shoe. Even handled some wet, muddy patches on some of the paths that I was on today without any issue whatsoever. Not sure if you'll be able to see it here, but there are a few little areas where you can see some exposed midsole in this front section of the shoe. I did get a few stones stuck in there and had to prise them out once again with the jeweler's screwdriver. Should come as standard with some of these shoes. You get like a little screwdriver there to prise them out. I am almost certain now that the crevices and cutouts in the heel of the midsole here are to enable that EVA to compress a little bit more, though I have found that the EVA is softening up a little bit here in the back of the shoe. I guess my only anxiety here about this shoe is that exposed carbon plate here. There's literally nothing protecting it. That plate does come with a sticker on it that says, you know, do not forcibly bend me, I will break. But of course that is the first thing that anybody's going to try and do when they get the shoe out the box. You know, a sharp stone or perhaps going up some steps and hitting on that section of the shoe is literally going to break the plate. Could do the unthinkable. Very assured today, and certainly in my testing I wouldn't hesitate in using the shoe at half marathon distance or below. I need to get a longer run in to see its marathon credentials. Have you picked the FAST-R Nitro up from Puma? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. Musical interlude time. Today comes from the 2012 album Psychedelic Pill by Neil Young and Crazy Horse. I think this is an ideal album for those long runs. It's an album that has lots of long and winding tracks, exactly like some of my roots. I'm loving the acoustic vibes on Drifting Back. It's pretty much the blueprint to a lot of Kurt Weill stuff, these sort of long looping acoustic melodies, often with some driving guitars inserted here and there just to lift things up a little. Ramada Inn is pretty much the same type of track but with more grunge. The guitars are grisly and overdriven, but I love the old boy fun that we get on Born in Ontario, which is, I believe, where Neil Young was in fact born. Can't believe it's like 10 years old. I can remember driving round delivering cakes listening to this album. You get your money's worth as well. There's some long winding solos here, and if you like Neil Young then that's probably right up your street. Go and check this one out if you've not done so before. Psychedelic Pill by Neil Young and Crazy Horse. Thanks for joining me on the channel today, it's always appreciated. Hit that subscribe button and click the bell below for notifications. Please give this video a thumbs up, like, and share it with your running buddies. My name's EDDBUD and I'll be seeing you